Hello viewers, I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. India's diplomacy sails on the twin strengths of regional unity and global vision. At the BIMSTEC Summit in Bangkok, New Delhi renewed its commitment to strategic ties, celebrating shared seas and deep-rooted cultural bonds with Thailand. In dialogues with leaders from Nepal, Myanmar, Bhutan and Bangladesh, India championed the cause of stability and democracy, the anchors of its foreign policy. Take a look.
Indian diplomacy has long been defined by its focus on multilateralism, cultural ties, and the pursuit of peace and stability in a diverse global landscape. Reaffirming this commitment, Prime Minister Narendra Modi represented India at the 6th Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation BIMSTEC Summit in Bangkok. The summit underscored India's proactive role in fostering regional collaboration and building partnerships with neighboring countries. On the bilateral front, PM Modi met with Thai Prime Minister Petagon Shinawatra to review ongoing cooperation and outline future engagement. He noted that India and Thailand, as maritime neighbors, share deep-rooted civilizational bonds anchored in cultural, linguistic and religious ties. Prime Minister Modi also reiterated Thailand's key role in India's Act East policy and Indo-Pacific vision.
भारत की एक्ट ईस्ट पॉलिसी और हमारे इंडो पैसिफिक विजन में थाईलैंड का विशेष स्थान है। आज हमने अपने संबंधों को स्ट्रैटेजिक पार्टनरशिप का रूप देने का निर्णय लिया है। आसियान भारत का कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव स्ट्रैटेजिक पार्टनर है और इस क्षेत्र में मैरीटाइम पड़ोसी देशों के नाते क्षेत्रीय शांति, स्थिरता और समृद्धि में हमारे साझा हित है। भारत आसियान यूनिटी और आसियान सेंट्रलिटी का पूर्ण समर्थन करता है।
On the sidelines of the summit, Prime Minister Modi met with key regional leaders including Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli and Myanmar's Senior General Min Aung Hlaing. He also held bilateral talks with Prime Ministers of Bhutan to strengthen ties and explore new avenues for cooperation.
Where do I begin? I mean, he has done so much for our relations, and this is no easy task, because you must remember that Bhutan enjoys excellent relations with India historically. And then through all the decades of our friendship and our partnership and our development cooperation. And for Prime Minister Modi ji to expand on the relationship is very difficult. And it really began, I think, with neighborhood first.
Notably, PM Modi met with Bangladesh Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus, where he expressed India's strong desire to see a democratic, stable and peaceful Bangladesh.
Prime Minister also met today with Professor Mohammad Yunus, the Chief Advisor of the interim government of Bangladesh. Prime Minister reiterated India's support for a democratic, stable, peaceful, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. He underlined that India believed in a people-centric approach to the relationship and highlighted the cooperation between the two countries over a long period of time that has delivered tangible benefits to people in both countries.
Alongside regional outreach, India continues to strengthen global partnerships. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar recently met Dutch Foreign Minister Casper Veldkamp in New Delhi to enhance collaboration in trade, defense, technology, education and strategic affairs.
For us, India is also a safe space for production of semiconductors and a country with opportunities also geoeconomically speaking. And we look forward to signing a memorandum of understanding on semiconductors and critical technology later this year. that will focus on trade, on research and development cooperation, on mobility, on workforce development, etc.
Further demonstrating India's global engagement, President Gabriel Boric Font of Chile visited India at the invitation of Prime Minister Modi, marking 76 years of diplomatic ties. The leaders reflected on their historic relationship established in 1949 and celebrated the growing collaboration in trade, culture, and bilateral cooperation. They expressed a shared commitment to further deepen the multifaceted partnership across key areas. Such engagements reflect India's dynamic and effective diplomacy, building regional unity, strengthening global alliances, and promoting peace, stability, and prosperity on the world stage.
In times of calamity, when hope seems lost, India has consistently stood as a pillar of support for nations in distress. From the heart of Asia to the shores of Europe, India's commitment to humanity transcends borders. India's approach to disaster relief is rooted in our ancient values of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, the world is one family. Take a look.
The visuals on your screen showcase the Indian Army's remarkable efforts as they treat patients in a newly established field hospital in Myanmar's Mandalay city. This 60-bed facility was set up in response to a devastating earthquake that struck on March 28 and claimed thousands of lives and left a trail of destruction in its wake. In a swift and compassionate response, India launched Operation Brahma, a comprehensive mission dedicated to offering search and rescue operations, humanitarian aid, disaster relief, and medical assistance. As a first responder in times of crisis within the region, Operation Brahma exemplifies India's commitment to solidarity and support. Several aircraft and Indian naval ships successfully delivered hundreds of metric tons of humanitarian aid and disaster relief materials, embodying a whole-of-government approach to alleviating the suffering caused by this tragedy.
India has been the most substantive, the fastest, and the most significant responder to the earthquake in Myanmar. It was within 48 hours of the earthquake of 7.7 magnitude that our teams were in Naypyidaw, and I must share here that the Indian aircraft were the first which landed in Naypyidaw, and also our rescue teams were allotted the largest areas in Naypyidaw as well as in Mandalay.
Indian community is working hand in hand with the Myanmar community, both during prosperous times and even during these difficult times which Myanmar is facing. We are helping the community by providing relief goods, by providing medicines, and also providing manpower to support the relief effort which is happening in Mandalay.
This commitment not only underscores India's role as a reliable ally, but also reinforces its moral obligation to assist nations in need during emergencies. The Indian Army's strong dedication during the operation in Myanmar exemplifies India's commitment to supporting those in crisis.
We have 6 medical officers, including 2 specifically lady medical officers, to look at the gender aspects of looking after the patients. In terms of specialists, we have surgical capability, medical, anesthesiologist, ortho. All have been grouped along with this team to give it a comprehensive kind of a cover. They are carrying advanced equipment, they are carrying vehicles, ambulances, and essential medicines, which we perceive would be required on ground based on experience in those.
From the 2004 tsunami to the recent 2025 Myanmar earthquake, India has systematically strengthened its capacity as a first responder. In the aftermath of the tsunami, India's swift response in assisting Sri Lanka, the Maldives and Indonesia established its reputation as a reliable ally in times of crisis. During the 1970s, India played a crucial role in helping Bangladesh recover from devastating cyclones and famine. Furthermore, throughout Sri Lanka's decades-long civil war, India contributed significantly to relief and reconstruction efforts. More recently, in response to the devastating earthquake in Turkey and Syria in 2023, India acted quickly. Under Operation Dost, the country deployed search and rescue teams, medical personnel, and essential supplies to aid affected communities. This operation highlighted India's readiness to support its friends, reinforcing the belief that no nation should face its challenges alone in times of need.
कोविड जैसी महामारी आती है तो भारत विश्व को परिवार मानकर वैक्सीन उपलब्ध करवाता है। दुनिया में कहीं भी प्राकृतिक आपदा हो, भारत पूरे मनोयोग से सेवा के लिए खड़ा होता है। अभी आपने कल ही देखा है, म्यांमार में इतना बड़ा भूकंप आया है। भारत ऑपरेशन ब्रह्मा के तहत वहां के लोगों की मदद के लिए सबसे पहले पहुंच गया है। जब तुर्की में भूकंप आया, जब नेपाल में भूकंप आया, जब मालदीव्स में पानी का संकट आया, भारत ने मदद करने में घड़ी भर की भी देर नहीं की।
In the year 2005, India had enacted the National Disaster Management Act, which paved the way for the establishment of the National Disaster Response Force. With 8 battalions specifically trained for disaster response, the NDRF has become the backbone of India's humanitarian outreach. Over the years, India has broadened its operations, extending aid to countries such as Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, and even China. This expansion underscores India's commitment to international solidarity and its proactive role in providing assistance during crisis. In every corner of the globe, India remains steadfast in its mission to be a beacon of hope, demonstrating that compassion knows no boundaries.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent. South Korean authorities launched a joint on-site inspection on March 31st over recent deadly wildfires that killed at least 30 people and razed thousands of buildings, including historic temples. The authorities believe a man who is in his 50s began the fire in southeastern Useong County when he performed an ancestral rite by a family grave on March 22nd. The police, along with the fire department and the National Forensic Service, collected samples from the area around the initial ignition point and plan to verify evidence. Yamaha Motor aims to promote a clean environment and enhance convenience in daily life. Recently, the company exhibited an immersive range of marine boats and facilities at the Japan International Boat Show. At the event, Yamaha Motor unveiled its new next-generation Hamo boat control system. This system can be easily installed on boats, just like an outboard motor. Its electric propulsion ensures an eco-friendly experience and enables smooth, quiet sailing.
新型ハルモの新しくなったポイントは、推進機本体自体をですね、非常にコンパクトにしたというところがございます。初代ハルモは少し全長と幅が大きかったんですけども、今回中身の部品を軽量コンパクトの設計を織り込むことでコンパクトな形状を実現することができております。それによりリギング性とか運搬等ですね、改善にもつながっているというふうに考えています。低速でゆっくり遊覧するところで目的地がかなり広いところに関してはジョイスティックを一度倒したら速度でキープしてくれるジョイホールド機能と いうそういった新しい機能も搭載しております。ハルモのターゲットは低速でゆっくり遊覧する使われ方の方たちをターゲットとしております。小樽運河、徳島、ひょうたん島、さまざまなところで水路がありまして、その水路でゆっくりボートを走らすという低速で遊覧するようなお客様向けに提供していきたいというふうに考えています。湖とかでですね、ハウスボート、そういったボートは非常に低速で湖の上を佇むという使われ方があるということが分かりましたので、アムステルダムの運河でこう遊覧するボートに加えて、そういったハウスボート、重たいボートをゆっくり動かす、まさにハルモの特性に合った、使われ方ということも分かりまして。
As a result of extensive research and development, Yamaha Motor has achieved a clean and efficient propulsion system for boats. This innovation will expand its application beyond commercial use to recreational boating worldwide. Nepal's Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli held former King Gyanendra Shah responsible for the violence, arson and looting during the pro-monarchy protest in capital Kathmandu last week. Addressing the House of Representatives, Oli said that the former king should take full responsibility for the incident amid the disruption by opposition Rashtriya Prajatantra Party. India has a diverse culture where people of all faiths have lived in harmony for centuries. This harmony is a vital aspect of India's unity, and the northern state of Uttar Pradesh embodies this blend. Under Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath's leadership, significant measures have been implemented to foster intercommunal peace. In a recent ANI podcast, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath emphasized the importance of equality and safety for all communities, asserting that the security of Hindus and Muslims is interconnected. Take a look. Communal harmony has long been a cornerstone of India's rich cultural and religious diversity. While communities have historically coexisted, periods of tension highlight the need for dialogue and understanding. Uttar Pradesh, especially under Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, has been central to discussions on intercommunal peace. In a recent ANI podcast, CM Yogi, reflecting on his administration's 8-year tenure, addressed concerns about Muslim safety in the state.
हम तो सबके बीच सबको समान भाव से देख रहे हैं। उत्तर प्रदेश में मुसलमान सबसे ज़्यादा सुरक्षित है, सबसे ज़्यादा सुरक्षित है। अगर हिंदू सुरक्षित है तो वह भी सुरक्षित है। अगर दंगे यहाँ यूपी में होते थे जो 2017 के पहले, अगर हिंदू की दुकान जलती थी तो मुसलमान की भी जलती थी, हिंदू का घर जलता था तो मुसलमान की भी जलती थी। और 17 के बाद से दंगे बंद हुए। अगर हिंदू सुरक्षित है तो मुसलमान भी सुरक्षित है। और दूसरा जो मैंने कहा कि इतिहास में कोई उदाहरण नहीं बता सकता कि अपने बल से, अपने वैभव से किसी हिंदू राजा ने किसी देश पर जबरन कब्जा किया हो।
Chief Minister Yogi's statements underscored his commitment to fostering unity and dismantling barriers between communities in Uttar Pradesh. He emphasized that his administration strives to create an environment where diverse cultures flourish together, reinforcing that safety, respect, and mutual coexistence are the pillars of communal harmony. CM Yogi further stressed that differences in identity should never be a source of division, but rather an opportunity to celebrate shared traditions and unity.
मुहर्रम में जुलूस निकलते हैं, क्या उनका झंडे की छाया मंदिर के आसपास या किसी हिंदू घर के ऊपर नहीं पड़ती है क्या? क्या उससे हिंदू घर अपवित्र हो जाता है क्या? ये सख्त निर्देश हैं कि भाई जिसको रंग से परहेज है उस पर मत डालना, लेकिन फिर भी पड़ गया है और प्रशासन उसको साफ करके फिर से नगाई पुताई कर दे रहा है। ये कौन सी बात है? क्या रंग बिरंगे कपड़े पहनते नहीं? हिंदू से ज़्यादा रंग बिरंगे तो मुसलमान ही पहनता कपड़ा, तो फिर रंग से परहेज क्यों? यानी तो दोहरा आचरण है ये तो। क्या रंग बिरंगी कपड़े पहने, लेकिन अगर रंग पड़ जाए तो हाय तौबा मचाते हैं? ये नहीं हो सकता है। ये दोहरा आचरण क्यों मचाते हो जी? अरे गले मिलो। बहुत सारे मुसलमानों ने रंग में होली खेली है। शाहजहांपुर में तो नवाब साहब की पूरी झांकी निकलती, शोभा यात्रा ही निकलती वहां पे तो।
Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath emphasized that communal unity is not just a goal but a necessity for Uttar Pradesh's diverse society. By fostering dialogue and understanding, the state can set an example of peaceful coexistence. He urged the people to embrace their differences and celebrate their shared humanity. In Geneva, Baloch activists protested outside the UN Human Rights Council demanding global intervention against Pakistan's alleged war crimes in Balochistan. Spearheaded by the Baloch National Movement, the demonstration highlighted grave human rights violations, including enforced disappearances and illegal killings.
Dozens of activists from the Baloch National Movement gathered outside the UNHRC office in Geneva, raising their voices against Pakistan's systematic human rights violations in Balochistan. Holding banners and chanting slogans, they condemned enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killing, and the repression of dissent in the region. The demonstrators demanded the immediate release of prominent activists, including Dr. Mehrang and Samidin Baloch, while calling for global intervention to end Pakistan's brutal crackdown on the Baloch people. Reaffirming their commitment to a peaceful struggle for Balochistan's liberation, the protesters vowed to intensify their diplomatic efforts with international organizations such as the United Nations and human rights bodies. Meanwhile, BNM's Manzoor Baloch addressed the UNHRC, calling for urgent intervention to address the humanitarian crisis in Balochistan.
Inside Balochistan, countless families have been displaced due to military operation, enforced disappearances, and widespread violence. These IDPs live in dire conditions without proper access, food, shelter, and health care. We urge this council to call on the UNHCR to recognize Baloch refugee, conduct a mission to Balochistan, and take immediate action to address the need.
The protest came in wake of the 6th Balochistan International Conference hosted by the Baloch National Movement in Geneva. The event saw political leaders, journalists, and the intellectuals highlighting the grave human rights violations in Balochistan and the exploitation of its natural resource by both Pakistan and China. BNM's chairman, Dr. Naseem Baloch, underscored the alarming reality of enforced disappearances, extrajudicial killing, and economic marginalization faced by the Baloch people.
And yet, despite these, our voices have been silenced, our leaders assassinated, and our youth disappeared without a trace. Balochistan today is bleeding. The notorious kill and dump policy has turned our home into a graveyard. Thousands of Baloch men, women, and children have been abducted by Pakistani forces. Their lifeless bodies, marked with torture, are thrown into the wilderness as a warning to those who dare to demand freedom. Thousands remain missing, leaving behind families trapped in a cycle of pain and uncertainty.
Marking 77 years since Pakistan's forced annexation of Balochistan, Dr. Baloch reminded the world that the so-called integration was an act of aggression, not a peaceful transition. Since then, Balochistan has remained a battleground of operation where state forces unleashed brutal crackdown on dissent. The unrest is not confined to international platforms. On the day of Eid, thousands in Pakistan turned a movement of celebration into a massive resistance demonstration, demanding the release of detained Baloch leaders. In a stark reminder of the ongoing struggle for human rights in Balochistan, Mehrang Baloch and several other activists have been recently detained in significant crackdown on dissent. This region, long marked by oppression and violence, continued to witness the relentless effort of those advocating for justice. As the crackdown intensifies, so does the global scrutiny of Pakistan's action. With mounting calls for justice and increasing international awareness, the question remains: How much longer can Islamabad suppress the voice of the Baloch people before the world is compelled to act?
As the struggle for justice continues, the world must not turn a blind eye to Balochistan's plight. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.